Hello everyone, welcome to the first of our follow-along series. In this follow-along series, we hope to not only help you set up our pool-based assets upon which you can expand, but also help you around in Unity a bit. For our very first follow-along episode, we wanted to show you how to install our physics-based player controller Steve so that you have something to play around with and expand on with future editions. So let's dive straight in, make a new project on the Universal Render pipeline. There we go. Let's take the package folder and start off with the Steve package by dragging it into the assets folder and import all the dependencies so that we have everything that we need. Almost there. There we go. Alright, then next let's take the Steve scene package. Just make sure we got everything on that too, and import it. And there we go. Now, when everything has imported correctly, you should be able to find the test environment scene in your scenes folder. Let's go ahead and open that, have a look at it. Alright, awesome. Let's go over to our input manager asset, make sure we have a backup so we copy it. And go to our project folder, into the project settings, and make sure we override the existing input manager. There we go, it says it in Dutch, override, and done. It's just so that we have all the input already set for Steve to play around with, so you don't have to tweak with that later. So next thing, let's click the camera and add a tag. We need to add some tags so that the scripts know what objects to listen to and which objects not to listen to. Let's add a tag for projectile, and let's make one for enemy. You can do these in any order. And let's make one for a grabbable, for them grabbable objects. You can already see that I have a grabbable gun. If you don't have it, make sure you have that one too. Next, let's add some layers. We want to make sure we have a ground layer, a character layer, and a character bounce layer. Alright. So next up, we want to check some project settings. So let's go to Edit, and under Project Settings, check the Physics tab. And under the Layer Collision Matrix, we need to toggle some layers to ensure our character works properly. So from the character bounce column, let's disable transparent FX water, UI, ground, character, and character bounce. And from the ground column, let's disable the ground. Alright. Then finally, let's go to the prefabs folder and take the Steve player controller and drag it into our scene. Then next we also need the camera system in our scene. And then we can start connecting the two together. So let's go ahead and dive into the Steve object. Under balance system, base, rotator parent, there is a player camera point, and we will actually use that player camera point for the camera to look at. So if we go to the camera system, we can see there's an input for a camera point. We will pick the player camera point that we found before. It exists in the list, so let's select that. And let's play, let's see if it works. And there we go, we have Steve in the scene. With the triggers I can hold up the arms. Then with the right stick I can move them up. I can walk around with the left stick. The camera also moves with it neatly. Perfect, everything seems to work. Having a working character is fantastic of course, but it would be cool if we had something to interact with. So let's make a grabbable cube. Because of the tags we set up before, this is a relatively easy step. All we need of course is a cube. Let's make that a little bigger so that we have something hefty to play around with. All it needs is a rigid body so it has a mass and can fall down, and we need to tell that it's a grabbable object so the controller knows it can grab it. And there we go. If I hold up my arms by using the triggers, then use the bumpers to actually snap to the object to grab it, I can drag, release, hold up, throw. And perfect, we now have a funny physics character that we can expand on. You can also add your own objects to the project and give them the grabbable tag so that you can pick them up and play around with your own stuff. We sincerely hope that you enjoyed this first episode and that you can play around with Steve. In our very next GrabbelBak episode, we will give Steve some guns to play around with, and how to set up these guns so that you can add your own. Stay tuned and see you next time.